vocalist Paul, he's kind of got that like Bryan Adams raspy thing to it, the track in it, and that was something that was appealing to me.
So are middle-aged women swooning, and you?
Absolutely, of course.
Okay.
Hey, howdy, hey, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to Mike's Monday Jams, the official podcast for music appreciators everywhere. Today we're going to be talking about the song Can't Hardly Wait by the group The Replacements. Let's get it.
I can't hardly wait. I can't wait. Hardly wait.
Monday, April 27th, last one for April, EC and MC on the track. Live Nation officially a monopoly with their subsidiary, Ticketmaster. But, you and I were talking about this morning, and we don't think that's really going to change much for a couple reasons. But I guess one of the key findings in this Supreme Court ruling was that Ticketmaster was overcharging on average $1.72 a ticket, so almost $2. I think it's a little bit more than that. I don't know what their findings were. haven't read the case notes or some of the specifics, but it feels like it's a little bit more than that.
At first, I thought that meant that they were charging $1.72 for every dollar.
Like it was almost
like they were charging 172% of what they should have been charging. But then when they were like a ticket, I was like,
more sense. That would make more sense.
What?
So I don't know if this is going to mean anything just yet. It'd be sick if they were like, okay, then they'll pay out that amount for everything you've bought, but then it's like, okay, what, you get like $30? I don't know. We'll see, but we think it's not going to change too much because now, especially with these large tours and these huge artists and these must-see events, it's like these artists now know what they can charge and get away with it because, yes, these are some hot-ticketed events and items and must-see experiences, and they're really expensive, but they're still selling out.
It's called supply and demand, and obviously everything is more expensive now than it once was, but it also is like people are like, I can charge more because people are far more irresponsible with money.
Indeed.
And are like, yeah, I'll pay that much money to go to this thing because I want to do that.
Yep.
And, I can't tell you what to do with your money, but maybe if you can't afford it, you shouldn't go.
No. Generally speaking, no.
There are choices, we make choices to not go or sit in the nosebleed seats.
Indeed.
We go to lots of things just to be there. Like, let me just get my foot in the door, figure out the cheapest way to go. I've never been like, I'm going to buy
the primo experience,
the nicest ticket.
Nah, man, it's a matter of just being there. I mean, that is the value to us, and the value of the experience is being in the room for the thing.
Like, if you're complaining about the ticket, like that, like concerts are not affordable, which, a lot of times they are not.
Nope.
But you're still buying like VIP tickets to everything you go to. It's like, you might be causing the problem.
You just might. You just might. And I even remember as a kid thinking like, some of those like VIP or like platinum seating and stuff like that. It's like, oh, that'll be something I do one day when I'm old, like that's just never something I've been like, oh, I gotta hop on that experience.
Yeah. The only thing I will say is when we watched this video about this, like we said, I'm not sure what it would really change, but B, they did say in the original settlement or whatever that like they were gonna make Live Nation like not operate some of its amphitheaters anymore or something.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we don't have to do that. We don't have to go that far.
Hard stop there.
They're actually really good at that.
Yes.
They might not be good at fairly pricing tickets, but they are great at owning amphitheaters.
Those
are the best venues.
They've had some experience for sure.
So we don't have to take those away. They can monopolize that. It's fine.
Yeah, so we'll see. But going off that, I did watch another video because we recently watched somebody react to a bunch of Coachella influencers and how much they spend and whatnot. But I watched another video talking about like kind of the origins of Coachella and how it spawned, continuing off the Ticketmaster thing, spawned out of the famous Pearl Jam lawsuit against Ticketmaster, and they built this whole stage and production in Indio, California for their fans, and got to charge what they wanted to and put on that experience for their fans. And then some other media company bought the rights to the venue and whatnot, and started Coachella that way. But it was a lot of like 90s lithium groups, like for the first, and it was meant to be like a against the man type thing. And now it's just
it was like originally like Burning Man, I think.
Yeah,
like,
and now it's just like it's the man. Like so it's funny how it's taking that 180, but again, some of these costs surrounding these 3-day passes, and again, it's like a bunch of people our age or younger insisting that they must do the premium thing for the entire time that they're there, and doesn't even begin to scratch the surface on the accommodations and how you get rear-ended with that, and food, and getting rides to and from places. And
this weekend is Stagecoach though.
Yes.
Now that one, would I go to California for that? No, but that does sound fun to me.
Little more yeehaw for you.
Yeah, and I don't think it's nearly as expensive as Coachella, because so. I mean, some places, like some brands will send influencers to Stagecoach. Like I think a bunch of the Mormon moms are there.
Oh, nice.
And they went last year too.
Your faves.
I love the Mormon moms, but like normal people go as well.
You think they're in the pit? You think they're fitting to be in the pit?
They're probably in the VIP.
The Mormon wives, they finna be in the pit?
They finna be in a pit.
I was like, no, like, I finna be in the pit.
See, she's part of the problem.
Yeah.
That girl?
Oh, big time.
Mm-hmm.
Big time. So, yeah, it also, Coachella just seems like the music festival for people that don't really like music, to be honest with you. I mean, it's
people don't go to Coachella for who is performing. Mm-mm. They're like, I'm going to Coachella, who is performing.
Yep. Yeah, good. That was a good one.
Thank you.
Noah Kahan's new album, The Great Divide, is out. It feels like maybe if the predecessor album, Stick Season, was more about the place of where he is from, this one feels maybe more about the people. In particular, I think a lot of it tracks like an old childhood best friend that he is no longer talking to. I don't know all the weeds of it. I've done like one or two listens through.
If I was that person, I would be like,
You still thinking about this?
This is a little obsessive.
But I again need to read more into it. But whoever this person is, or people, they've really made him mad. Because there's some haterade for sure. There's some haterade, but there's a lot of generally really good songs. And I think, your issue with him a lot is that he kind of has that like Tweedledee folk thing that you don't necessarily love too much.
I mean, it's not Boom Clap, at least.
Stop and Holler.
Yeah, no, Boom Clap is by your girl Charlie.
Bum Clap. Do you know about Bum Clap?
Bum Clap. Which that is bothersome to me. Noah Kahan, sometimes I'm just a little bit bored.
That's fair. I mean, he's telling you a story, which you don't really often like in songs unless it's funny
a story that's
or
funny.
A little bit more engaging. This is something you definitely kind of have to, and it's deeply personal.
All I know, I haven't listened to it yet. Sorry.
All
I know, I want to though. Haven't had that moment. All I know is that there is a line that's like, if I see one more Cybertruck, I'm gonna drive off the road.
Mm-hmm.
I see one more Cybertruck, I swear to God I'm gonna floor it.
He does cite,
and I get that.
That
they're so ugly.
I mess with that.
They're so.
He's
ugly.
so real for that. What a great.
Why'd you
line.
buy something that's so ugly?
Poor decision. A small pet peeve with its release, though. Real small, and this is a me thing. This is not a thing at Noah necessarily, but it came out yesterday at the time of recording, so April 24th. About halfway through the day, a little bit more than halfway through the release day, he puts out the deluxe version.
You
Same
gotta
day.
give it a week at least.
That, but also I'm annoyed because I've already done a listen through and gone back to the couple ones that I've liked and liked those songs in Spotify. Now I feel like I gotta unlike those, and then I gotta go like them on the deluxe version because now I gotta go listen to the other ones. Literally,
Boo hoo.
I mean, again, preface this with the "this is a me" thing, but I mean, it does seem odd to release your deluxe version the same day.
Yeah, I feel like you gotta give it a week, or I mean, at least the weekend.
For real. Gone are the days when some artists would put out like bonus tracks on their like Target exclusive release.
Oh, Miss Swift would.
Yes, but there's a couple of other. I think Morgan Wallen did that with Dangerous. But gone are those days.
Yeah, and there
it
were
feels
some
like
slappers. That I can't remember right now.
This Side of the Dust Cloud
That
was one,
and
Band-Aid on a Bullet Hole. I think
Yeah.
were the two from Dangerous.
okay, maybe not slappers, but they're good.
Yes.
I thought
But-
Need a Boat was one of them, but it's not. It's
No,
just
I
on
think
the album.
it's on the album.
That's a
But
slapper.
yeah, gone are those days. It feels like so. Whatever. I mean, good for
Whatever.
him. Good for him. It's pretty good all around and worth checking out. Live at the Garden was announced for Memphis. We talked about it last week on how it was highly anticipated, and it flopped.
Big time flop.
And it's tough, right? Like, I know they depend on like who's out on the road and when during the summer and how they can accommodate that in their stop, because that's also like a unique kind of show. And does it kind of mess with the equipment that you got while you're out on the tour? Or does it mess with the type of show you're trying to put on? So I know there's like a lot of logistical things, and I know there's also a lot of financial component to it. But it flopped.
Major flop. I'd like to go. Alabama's coming, and I'd be totally down to go see Alabama, and that's it.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. We shall see.
No pop rocks Titans.
No.
Where are my pop rocks Titans? Where's Dirks?
Yeah, it's tough.
The hell.
Band Camino are releasing a volume 2 to their album that was released in the last year called Never Always. It comes out in a couple weeks, actually. I think like in the middle of May.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get that. Cool thing that I wanted to talk about at the start of the episode. So last Saturday was Record Store Day, and your dad a real one for getting up and going. He did the heavy lifting, but
Mike comes out, and I get up very early on Saturdays because I work on Saturdays. And he's like, your dad called me at 7 a.m. Did you put him up to this? I was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, at Record Store Day. I was like, what are you talking about? No, I didn't put him up to it.
He a real one for going, but I wanted to sleep in. But one of the things that caught my eye was this Steely Dan Alive in America that was released in 95, I believe. And it is a live album from their like first Get Back Together tour, because the Dan were big of the 70s. You know, pretty much all of their discography was released in the 70s, and they also didn't tour much, especially towards the end of the decade. They were more a studio act. But then they broke up after like 1980, 1981, and they got back together in the mid-90s. So it's a live album that's a compilation of a lot of those tour stops from the mid-90s. But whenever I get a physical release, and this one was cool too because it never been released on vinyl ever. So they put it out for this last Record Store Day. But whenever I get an album, as always, I'm reading through the liner notes and everything. And the first track is Babylon Sisters. And for every track on the liner notes, it tells you where it was recorded. And so I'm like, oh, that's cool. But the first track, Babylon Sisters, is from a show in St. Pete in 94. And I'm like, I know somebody that lived in the Tampa-St. Pete area in the 90s. My parents. So I immediately, I texted my dad, hey, were you at this Dan show in 94? Steely Dan in St. Petersburg. And he texted back, he was like, yes. But that was before my parents were together. So it was just him that was at it. But it was kind of cool to be like, oh, well.
That's cool.
And then I sent him, because it's on Spotify, so I sent him like the track, and I was like, well, I've got something interesting for you. So I thought that was pretty cool and worth sharing. So
I like it.
fun little fact. And it's a good live album. Were you going to say something?
I was gonna ask. I told you the other day, there's some really big music news happening, but it's scary. Can I have a true crime segment and keep it as not scary as possible? It's the biggest news in music right now. Okay, you guys. I don't know if any of y'all are interested in true crime. If you're not, skip ahead. All right. But there's this guy. His name is David, and his rap/singing name is D4VD. All right, David, with a 4 in it. Last year, they found this girl in his Tesla, in the frunk of his Tesla, the front trunk of his Tesla. Bonnet. She was very dead. Okay,
in the bonnet,
very, very much dead. And she was also 14. Come to find out, he has a situation with this girl. Okay, but they didn't arrest him, and they've been watching him. It was in September. They just arrested him last week on all of these crazy murder charges. Okay, like the highest degree, highest amount of first degree murder you could possibly do. Like that they got murder what is it? Special circumstances. It makes it worse. He got 3 of those. Okay, and of course the fact that she was 14. Yeah. So now they got him. Okay. First, people are thinking, well, it doesn't make sense so they found the car in September because he'd been parking it different places. It's like, if you killed somebody, why would you keep this girl in the car? And why would you put the car in a public place? So that's really the only big question. And people are like, oh, he didn't do it because of this. Well, they did their first pre-preliminary hearing yesterday. You guys, he is bad. He is a bad dude. All right. Not only is he, innocent till proven guilty, but he's probably a murderer. Okay. Real bad stuff. All right. She's 14. Let me emphasize the fact she was a child, and I'm pretty sure she was 13 when they were together, and he was 20, now 22, I think. Yeah. So they got him. But the craziest part, his most popular song, called "Romantic Homicide." Y'all don't think he did it?
Anyway.
So that's my true crime segment. I'll keep you updated. You guys have been watching all the videos about it. I'm deeply invested. But it is very big music news.
And she has not hesitated to share all of the details.
I'm not sharing all the details with y'all. Y'all, it's bad. This guy, he's bad.
Let's talk about today's artist. Great segue. The Replacements. So I've been listening to a lot of them because recently I've been watching, I think it's Trackstar on YouTube. He does the testing artists' knowledge of different songs on the streets of New York. It looks super staged. I'm less about the artist guessing the song and more about them telling really cool stories in the interview itself.
Which that part's good. Sometimes though, you're watching. I was telling you this the other day when we were watching it.
Sometimes it feels like a layup for some artists, and they act like they don't know it.
They act like they don't know who it is. I've seen multiple of them where he's playing a popular Tom Petty song. They don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it makes me wonder. I'm like, should I be trusting you?
Who knows?
What do you mean?
But regardless, the Replacements came up on one of these interviews, and even from the little snippet from what I heard, I was like, I might check those guys out. Because at work, I have a lot of time to listen to music, and a lot of watching. A lot of time to just listen to new things in particular. So anytime I get a bug, I'm like, I should explore it more. So the Replacements today, it feels like they could be British. They kind of have that thing about them, but they are from Minneapolis.
Oh.
So they are not British. They started out as kind of a punk outfit, playing loud and fast. But then they switched gears after their first couple of records to be a little more alt chill kind of vibes and influenced a lot in the genre. But their main tenure was from 79 to 91. They broke up in 91, but then they had a little bit of a reunion in 2012, but it didn't last too long. Their fans often refer to them as the Mats, adapted from the placemats.
Oh.
Not the Mets with an A, or I guess it is the Mets with an A, but
Not the Mets.
so that is another moniker for their outfit. In terms of their legacy, they've influenced a lot of groups. A lot of artists will cite them as somebody that they grew up listening to or just have influenced their sound. They've been featured in movie soundtracks, rock band video games.
That's what I was saying. I was like, I feel like I've seen the replacements on movie soundtracks.
They kind of have that like John Hughes vibe to them, especially this song. But they were nominees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but never got inducted. And they're often just kind of thought of as a band that blew it. Like they kind of had the attention, they had the buzz, they had the fan base, but they just kind of, I don't know, they just kind of blew it, and we'll talk about that in a second here. But it began
snowed in up in Minnesota.
I suppose so. But it began with the Stinson brothers. Older brother Bob, who was 19 at the time, gave his little brother Tommy, which I believe was 11 or 12, a bass guitar at the time.
Wow.
In the late 70s, because he wanted him to stay off the streets. He said, "Here, little bro, start learning this."
What streets are they up to in Minnesota?
Who knows, especially in the wintertime.
Y'all, it's too cold outside.
But I'm also like, what did he see at 19 already that he's like, little bro, you don't want to go out there. Here's a bass guitar. Very, very specific
That's really
gift.
interesting.
But so they kind of started jamming from there. They met a fellow named Chris Mars, who would be their drummer, and they'd form a band called Dog Breath.
That's horrible.
It's a horrible name.
Ew.
And they just did a bunch of covers and enjoyed playing music together. They'd eventually meet a fellow by the name of Paul Westerberg, who became the singer. And Paul used to work as a janitor in a U.S. Senator's office.
Okay.
And when he'd walk home from work, he would hear them playing like in their garage. And so he kept stopping by. And eventually they were like, dude, just be in the band, you know. But at the time, they still didn't have a vocalist. And so they auditioned for a bunch of vocalists. And they found somebody. And then Paul, who, you know, was working as a janitor.
He was a fan.
Yes. He basically takes this new vocalist aside and he says, dude, the rest of the band members hate you. They do not like you.
Drama.
And so he's like, well, all right, then I'm gone. And then Paul becomes a singer. So I kind of admired the move.
Okay, he's so messy.
Interesting. But
That's
Paul,
so messy.
But we'll get into it in a second. But Paul ended up kind of being like the voice of reason and the most disciplined one.
And he started being that messy?
Of the group, the one to keep them on track, we'll say.
Keeping them off those Minnesota streets?
Apparently. And so it's kind of good that he was messy, to say the least. Mm-hmm. So they start by playing a bunch of local venues. Sorry, we got somebody cutting the grass outside.
It was I saw it. Sorry I made that face, but I've never seen whatever device he's on in our neighborhood. It's a very large mower. Looked like he was driving a tractor outside our window.
Either way, I couldn't hear it in the headphones, so I doubt you're hearing it at home. But they started out playing bars and local gigs and stuff like that. They were a big cover band, so playing lots of music that they liked. But they eventually decided to move from Dog Breath to the Replacements.
Probably a good move.
Drummer Mr. Mars was quoted saying, like, maybe the main act doesn't show and instead the crowd has to settle for an earful of us dirtbags. It seemed to just sit right with us, accurately describing our collective secondary social esteem. So these guys were just always kind of like, not losers, but just like not really trying to be prom kings, not really
accepting second rate.
Yeah, not really trying to be like prim and polished and
okay.
upper echelon. But they eventually landed a deal from playing those local shows. They themselves had a lot of confusion about what they were at first, because I remember I told you they started out as kind of like a punk, fast and loud, like playing like meaningless songs to them. And so this is when they started to kind of alter their course as musicians. But they eventually garnered a lot of attention outside of Minnesota with their second album release, which would start their first U.S. tour. And one of the brothers, Tommy, the younger one, he actually had to drop out of 10th grade so he could go on the tour.
Cute. I mean, not cute to drop out of high school, but to be like 16, okay.
So I thought that was a fun little detail of like, whoops, sorry, I can't go to pre-calc anymore. I gotta
that
go
feels like
across
when
the US.
Charlie had to miss high school to go on your bachelor trip.
Yes.
Sorry, y'all, I have to go on a bachelor trip to Denver.
Little different.
Only
but,
a 2-day affair.
The core is there, but yeah, little different. Charlie did finish high school.
He did finish high school
and is in college.
Yep.
The release of their album "Let It Be" garnered a lot of major label attention because they started to do more like all.
How do you
rocky.
get to release an album called "Let It Be"?
They did. I mean, it's not like the Beatles had a trademark on the name.
No, I guess not. But I mean, is it on purpose? Like, is it like a
that
homage?
I don't.
Is it purposeful?
That I don't know much about. But,
okay. Because I know we've talked a lot on this show about how people nowadays cannot understand that concept.
Yes.
Like they think anything that's like somebody else did that, so it's copying.
Yep.
My guess would be there has to be some reason. You're
Yes.
not like, oh, I didn't know there was a Beatle album called
Yes.
"Let It Be."
But this is when they actually got a invite to play on SNL. Because it kind of happened by accident, but I think the Pointer Sisters were supposed to play. They couldn't. So last second.
Bit of a new direction.
Yes. So they got invited to play SNL. But then quickly were banned forever from SNL after their show because they were lots of profanity, lots of like, and they were just kind of like chummy guys. And so they would just like, cuss at each other on stage and stuff. And like the microphone was like picking it up. And so Lorne Michaels was like, these guys they're never coming back. So let's talk about their shows, because oftentimes these cats would be way too inebriated to play the show. Like
That happens to us with the podcast a lot.
dropping their
That was just a joke.
instruments,
That was just a joke.
stumbling over each other, unable to stand up. It kind of became like a running thing.
When he was 16?
Oh yeah, they were drinking. It kind of became a running thing amongst fans of like, we don't know if they're going to be able to play tonight because they're going to be too drunk.
That's the thing. Well, I think we talked about this on a recent episode. Like, I know they're like, people drinking on stage, it makes them better.
Yes,
Like, makes you more calm.
a little more subdued.
I mean,
yeah.
think about the dead.
Mm-hmm.
Various types of inebriation.
Yes.
And it's like, how are some, like, because to me, do I want to listen to a dead show? No. Am I forced too often? Yes. But I think
Not often.
far more often than any other 25-year-old girl anyone has ever known. but I can fully admire, and I think that jamming like that to me seems like it would be harder than playing regular songs.
Yes.
Far harder to do that while under the influence of various chemicals.
Quite.
Seems crazy, but then there's it's like this, you get there too drunk.
Yeah,
Or like when we
can't
saw
get
Lady
together.
Antebellum and Charles Kelly was obviously drunk, but he was great.
He was managing.
He just couldn't talk, but he could
No.
sing.
He just put it on autopilot. I'd done this hundreds of times.
It was
why
fine.
not? But so yeah, that became kind of the thing. But also they were known to sometimes like randomly just do a whole set of covers. Just like show up and like only do covers.
If you were a really big
Like
fan of theirs, that'd be really
Zach
dang.
Brown
That was
playing an hour of covers.
that made me so mad.
But and sometimes the singer Paul, like they were just so unserious. Like Paul would sometimes, like they'd start a cover, he'd inhale a helium balloon and like Sing Like a Chipmunk, you know.
Now that I would think is funny.
Yes. So,
As long as he didn't pass out.
Yes. But when they could play, when they were sober or when they were sober enough to play, people said their shows were awesome.
Okay, great.
So this is why I'm kind of getting into the point of like, they kind of blew it. Because I don't think they just like really cared, but also they just like kind of super unserious. So, but this is kind of where we find them today of changing from punk to a little bit more alty, a little bit more, you know, John Hughes soundtracky, and just rocking with that vibe. So the album we're talking about today, it is called Pleased to Meet Me, and it came out in March of 1987. Something very, very interesting about this album is that it was recorded right down the road here in Memphis, Tennessee at Arden Studios. Popular choice for ZZ Top, of who recorded a lot of their stuff. REM, Stevie Ray Vaughan famously visited there. A couple of others.
Where is it? Does it still exist?
I believe so. Madison Ave. It's got hours, so yes, it does still exist. So yes, the corner of Madison and Morrison, North Morrison. It is near a Mexican restaurant.
Isn't everything.
Molly's La Casita. The casita. Mm-hmm.
Mike loves the word casita.
So over there, it's in Midtown over there by Overton Park.
Oh, okay.
So there it is.
All
Woohoo. So yes, it was recorded down the road. It was recorded as a trio, though. Older brother Bob had recently left the band.
Oh, I thought you were saying he died.
Well, so he did pass away, but a couple years later.
Oh, rip.
Couldn't get over the drinking. It just
rough.
But yeah, they had to.
He
kick
might have
him.
been better in the streets.
Might have, but they had to let him go. / he had to leave the band because he was just getting to be too much. Which imagine like your reputation is like being too much, and like the person, how much do you got to be to be kicked out? So he leaves before recording. Their first demo sessions, because they came down to Memphis not with the intention of recording an album, it just kind of happened. But the first demo sessions, the way I understand it, like started with Alex Chilton producing, who was of Big Star and the Box Tops fame.
Okay.
And these guys idolized Alex. They thought he was super cool. And those sessions kind of weren't really working, so they found another producer called Jim Dickinson, who was also another Memphis legend. And Jim's kind of funny. He wanted to call the record Where's Bob? Like their older brother. They didn't really find it that funny, but he said like you could often notice like there was kind of a vibe shift in the room of like they kept maybe looking for the older brother Bob as like creative direction or just like general presence. Also, I read a blog post from somebody who documented a lot of the making of this album in Memphis, and they're drinking like cheap red wine was their go-to, like a big old bucket of it. Yeah. Like all that sugar too, man. Anyway,
He's so sick.
So if you were curious, they were loading up on cheap red wine. But yes, the album represents a more shift to a poppy sound, a little bit more alt. It's got some horns on it, which the band originally hated. They were like, no horns. And the day that a lot of these tracks for horns were recorded, they left town. They're like, you can call us when you're done with this crap, you know. But Jim Dickinson loved the idea of it, loved the direction, even put some strings on some of these songs as well. And the string section, from what I understand, is Memphis State students. Oh. And I can't remember if the horns are from Stax folks or just a Memphis outfit of horns. Plenty of people playing horns in Memphis, you know, Delta Blues, land of the Delta Blues. And it was also suggested by the record company to put horns on a lot of these tracks because they were in Memphis. It's like, oh, put some extra oomph in it while you got the resources and while you've got the talent here. The cover of the album represents this shift to pop pretty well. There's kind of an individual with a tattered shirt, maybe looking a little punky, shaking the hands of somebody a little bit more polished, obviously in a suit, got a nice watch, and a diamond ring on, so somebody a little bit more put together.
It looks very 60s.
It does, which is kind of a play on for their idol, Alex Chilton. But fun fact about the cover, they actually had to hire a model to be the polished hand, because none of them owned a watch. So they were like, we need somebody like who looks a little bit more. It looks a little bit.
I would
more
rather hire someone who owns a watch than acquire one.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're trying to go for something nice, that could really set you back. So, fun fact about that. But the album produced 3 singles, and it made it to number 131 on the Billboard 200 in 1987. So let's talk about the song "Can't Hardly Wait." Alex Chilton actually played on it. He played some of the guitars on it, so they loved that. They wanted him to play on a song called Alex Chilton, but he wasn't about that. He just wanted to do Can't Hardly Wait. But yeah, it's got horns, it's got strings. They tried to put it on the album prior, but it just really wasn't working. So saved it for these sessions.
They need to get rid of Bob.
I suppose so. But it immediately got my attention upon listening to some of their stuff, because it does kind of feels like maybe a song Ferris Bueller would listen to. Like outside, going deeper than just being on a John Hughes soundtrack, just like the personality of Matthew Broderick's Ferris Bueller sounds like he'd be into this. And so that's also another reason why I kind of wanted to talk about it today, because I figured it was something you might enjoy as well.
Yes, and well, also, this is the time of year that Ferris is set in.
Indeed. Springtime
It is in April.
Springtime is Ferris time. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
Because they're still in school.
Yes. But it's warm.
But it's also baseball season.
It's baseball season. There's a parade in the middle of the day. Yeah. And it's flooded with people.
We don't know why.
The German parade.
Yeah, some German involved.
So, yeah, I figured you would enjoy this as well. So that was definitely a big, compelling piece to speak about this today. Some other things that jump out to me about this sound: vocalist Paul, he's kind of got that like Bryan Adams raspy thing to it, the track in it, and that was something that was appealing to me.
So are middle-aged women swooning, and you?
Absolutely, of course.
Okay.
I love a song with good horns. They kind of come in unexpectedly too. Like when I was like first listening to it, right when they come in at first, I was like, oh, like kind of sat up a little bit. I was like, oh, some horns. Okay, we got some horns. Okay. Side note, Alex Chilton, Coors Light really missed out. I doubt they did any ad campaigns with them, but like, their whole thing is licensed to chill. Could have been like licensed to Chilton. Oh, okay. Chilton. Side note. Anyway. So it's also got a simple melody, Can't Hardly Wait. The guitars even harmonize, which is always fun.
That's fun.
And it's got a textbook 80s fade out.
Love that.
Lyrical content, presumably being about somebody you're smitten with and you just can't hardly wait to see him again, which is honest and true. And something that I feel everybody experiences at some point in their life. There's also some speculation about it being a continuation of a box top song, Alex Chilton's group, called The Letter. So it's almost like a continuation of the story.
A sequel.
Yes, precisely. Yes. So that's kind of... Can't Hardly Wait. It's a pretty simple song, but effective, and definitely got my attention this week, and wanted to talk about it even more so after discovering it was recorded right here in town, which is pretty cool. Cool. Now it's time for the segment portion of today's show. Kicking us off as always is Emma's Everyday Jam, the song that my lovely co-host has been regularly cruising along to for the past week. What you got?
Well, y'all know it's warm, so I keep listening to country music. And, someone that we should be giving more credit to is Joe Diffie. I know the COVID took him, and that's horrible. R.I.P. But, we talk about Pickup Man all the time.
I never knew you were a pickup man.
We talk about John Deere Green all the time.
Billy Bob and Charlene.
Mm-hmm. But...
A love written in the stars, by
Yes.
the way. And on a water tower.
Bigger than the Beatles banger. Okay? And the one that Hardy did with Old Dominion.
It's a good one, yes.
And John Party
It is a good one.
really good.
Mhm.
Now, I want to give the love to Joe Diffie, but in the Hicks tape one, they harmonize, which Joe's not doing.
Yeah, it's just him.
So I do like it a lot. So that'll be my everyday jam.
They got a love bigger than the Beatles, wild and free like a rolling stone. They got a love takes them higher than the Eagles. Ain't a life such a sweet, sweet song.
And Third Rock from the Sun is good.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Diffie's got a lot of bangers. We are not giving him enough credit. For
No.
Sure. Good pick. Now it's time for our major minor chords, a segment of the show in which we discuss our respective highs and lows for the week. What you got?
My major is...
Watching Jamie Ding just go on an absolute tear.
Oh my God, you're so right. We are watching history be made on Jeopardy right now, you guys. If you are not paying attention, Jamie Ding is on a historic run. He has won 30 days in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And he has almost $1 million.
Yes, has amassed more than $800,000.
So if you're not paying attention to Jamie Ding, you need ding dong. You need to be paying attention to Jamie Ding.
Here's your sign.
Minor. Been a little stressed out, but that's okay.
Cortisol spiking, huh?
Yeah.
I've got no minor, not to flex on you. Major, though, recently been taking like a joint supplement. Shout out to your dad for suggesting that. And I don't creak as much in the mornings, which is
that's
huge.
good.
But like, even like I ran 8 miles today. I hadn't done that in a while, and I still I feel pretty.
So you've like
Pretty
noticed
springy.
the difference. With it.
Oh yeah.
It also smells like
Absolutely.
cupcakes.
Yeah, the pills, the supplement, it does smell like
I've never
cake batter.
known a pill to smell good. I've only
No.
known pills to either have not a smell.
they've
Or
got,
stink.
They have got a vanilla cake batter thing going on.
He
to
comes
them.
out and he's like, smell this. I'm thinking it smells awful. I was like, no. And then he's like, no, you want to smell it.
Literally, it's like
Smells like
it's like
cake
a little
batter.
treat. But it has. I have noticed the difference. So that is a big
Great.
major.
I'm so glad.
Last but not least, it's time for our honorable mentions. A song that almost made the cut or follow a similar rhyme or reason to today's episode, and we talked about it. But taking the first slot in the honorable mentions today is the song "Alex Chilton" by The Replacements. It even mentions Memphis in it, so check it out. Next up, another group, a new group that I've been eyeing, and they're from Dublin. They go by the name Fontaines DC, but they've got a song called "Favorite" that I really like. That I would say is my favorite by them.
Oh my gosh.
And it's pretty cool. So check it out.
You've been my favorite for a long time.
And in the vein of new things, listener Tori sent me a song by a group called Congress, the band that I actually have been listening a lot to as well. And it is called Out the Door. And I like it a lot. I think you'll hate it because it sounds really beachy, but I just know the vocal track is you're not gonna like it.
Oh.
So
You guys should listen.
But this is just not Emma's thing. I say that because it's not your thing,
I'm glad you know me well.
but it is a pretty good song,
All
and
right.
I like some of their stuff. And funnily enough, they actually just played in Oxford a couple weeks ago.
Oh.
I digress. Out the Door, Congress the band. It's a good one.
'Cause when I'm walking out your door, she left me down in Charleston, and I'm so damn done with her.
That's going to do it for us this week, folks. We appreciate the like, follow, comment, share, subscribe, listen, rating. Hope you enjoyed the Phineas and Ferb countdown last week. We were better than the Cliptastic countdown, I think. And hopefully this episode inspires you to listen to something new this week. So we shall see you next week.
Bye.